Well,
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to what is another Saturday episode, the weekly recap on what we call this little shindig, the Unfinished Business Podcast. Money Malcolm, as he likes to be called now, because that's all he gets to be talking about since I brought that name up.
yeah.
The week, the lean, mean tanning machine.
Oh, yeah. Only just out in the sun 24/7 here working, just sitting there getting a nice tan. It's a big farmer's tan, though. It's not looking pretty right now.
Well, come on, like it's a tan's a tan. I'll take that
Yeah.
any day of the week.
Yeah.
Pretty, as I like to say myself, a little mahogany caramel, not a big
Oh,
deal.
not a big deal.
Yeah. Got a couple company rounds of golf in this week.
I don't know how you got up for golf today after last night, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Little Friday night bender.
A
Eric
rough,
Smith, if you're
rough
watching,
go.
have a drink on us. Have a
And
drink on us.
yeah, it was 2 a.m. I think when you left and ended it. I was like, what? It's 2 a.m. already. That time really flew by.
I don't have to wake up at 7 o'clock. Yeah,
That's
it was
awful.
everything was sore. Borderline headache. That was a wet one away. But yeah, it was basically COVID minus COVID.
Jeez.
Put in Leighton's terms. But
Yikes.
pretty big news in sports today, Malcolm, or this week, I should say.
Yeah, there's been a lot of big sports news. So we'll start off with news we've heard about the NFL. So the first thing I want to talk about is the cover athlete for the Madden 21 game, and it's going to be Lamar Jackson. I feel like a lot of people anticipated this, and I think that we knew it was kind of leaked beforehand by the Baltimore Ravens on Twitter. So a lot of people knew this beforehand. I think that's the right choice right now. He's MVP,
It
obviously.
really, honestly, it's going to be the MVP of the year. If the season is going to get Madden every year.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like,
Yeah, has
how
there
can
ever
you?
been like a person who's been on the Madden cover twice? I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
The GOAT Tom Brady hasn't gotten that yet.
I'm surprised that hasn't happened, but
But he only got his first like what 2 years ago, Madden 18.
yeah.
That was his first cover.
So I think if he does well in Tampa Bay for Madden
It'll be Gronk.
22,
Oh no,
uh,
Gronk got a cover too.
yeah. So I don't know. Who knows? But
Baker's next.
yeah, not really gonna happen ever. Vegas is gonna be the host to the 2021 Pro Bowl. If is that this season or the next season?
Next.
Next season. Okay,
No, it
yeah.
will be this season. I'm
It's this
done.
season, right? Yeah. So
Yes.
it's if the season happens, like
Yep.
obviously, so like
It'll,
we don't even know. So,
yeah, it'll be the first time out of Hawaii and or Orlando. But
geez,
like Vegas is like the best place to have it, all the shows and all that.
yeah,
That's why I'm
it's
saying the Super Bowl. Whenever they get the Super Bowl, it's going to be a time and a half.
be rowdy. Have to make a trip down there for sure when that Super Bowl.
Oh, really?
What?
Yeah, like I'm sure it'll be a cheap ticket down there and a cheap
It's on.
ticket to go.
It's on you. So,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
um, some COVID news. Goodell has come out and said that the league does expect to have some positive tests, and they've already had some positive tests with Ezekiel Elliott, Kareem Jackson, among several players that tested positive. Also, other players on the Houston Texans, the Denver Broncos, Dallas Cowboys.
Houston, Dallas are the big two.
Those are like the Texas is a big one. Florida's going to hit pretty bad, so I'm assuming we're going to see some Florida teams. I'm pretty sure they saw some Tampa Bay Buccaneers just got tested positive today. Hopefully not Tom Brady, Gronk, or anything, and I hope everyone that has it's doing well. But yeah, we knew that there's going to be positive tests. Even Zeke earlier on in April went to that party with Dak Prescott at
Dak
Dak Prescott's
Prescott.
house. Yeah, and they said there was rumors that there was like 30 people there, and like Dak's like, no, no, no. There was like 10 people max. Either way, he probably got COVID from not social distancing, probably going up partying. So there's probably going to be some more positive tests among all sports leagues. Chargers coach Anthony Lynn came out and said that Kaepernick would be a good fit with his team, with the Chargers.
I've
And
come out and said this
yeah,
before that he would be landing with the Chargers. So I'm available all week. Whoever's looking to hire ESPN, CBS, whoever really wants us, because we just predict everything. It's
yeah.
not a big deal.
I think that's might be one of our catchphrases here coming on. But yeah, even like he even said it would be crazy not to have him work out with your team because even Donald Trump has come out and said that Kaepernick should get a second chance. in the NFL if he deserves it.
Yeah,
Which
all right, come on. Like, what's he gonna like? He was gonna get in everybody's bad books if he doesn't say that Kaepernick's gonna get a second chance.
I'm saying, but and he had to throw in like if he deserves it type thing. I'm more or less positive that he deserves it. You've seen that he's been working out and training ever since he was blackballed from the league. So I think he'll be ready. I think like you said, Chargers would be a great fit when they have Justin Herbert and Tyrod Taylor right now. So him
Yeah, like
going
Tyrod
into
Taylor is like the best, I would say, best quarterback that models Kaepernick's game right now would be
yeah,
Tyrod Taylor.
yeah, and
But
then you have
like
Kaepernick
it's the
who's just
same
taller.
system. It'd be the same system. It'd be perfect.
Yeah. Some news about the protests. So Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, has come out and said he's going to kneel in the upcoming season, among with a bunch of other coaches, personnel, and players in the NFL. Have said they're definitely going to kneel. And then, like in other sports leagues, they said they're going to kneel, and it's just I don't see this ending. Like these protests ending. It's something that's just bound. It has to change at this point, and something's got to go on. You see what happened with like Jagmeet Singh and his outburst, not outburst, but he got kicked out and he had to give an apology for calling an MP, a Quebecois MP, racist. And he got very emotional after that. So I think it's about time, and all these players are going to continue to support the cause and the protests as long as it takes. HBO's Hard Knocks will be covering
Great show.
the Chargers and the Rams this season, which is I kind of found shocking. Do you find those teams shocking to be covering on Hard Knocks?
Maybe. I don't know. Justin Herbert will be interesting to see
Mm-hmm.
how that all plays out because he's probably not going to be starting next year. LA had a terrible season last year compared to what they were going to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like Sean McVay is a pretty innovative coach. See how all that plays out, and you get two for the price of one with Chargers and the Rams. So it makes sense.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks for explaining it to me. Now I know.
Oh, so you need one or two explanations? Which one?
49ers signed head coach Kyle Shanahan to a 6-year contract, and he'll be put into the top 5 of the highest paid coaches in the league. I think he's deserving of it, honestly, because he's brought that team from the season they had last year. They had like 3 wins or something, and then to the Super Bowl this past year. So he's really deserving of it. Obviously, he's had the players and the signings and a healthy team that helped them to get where the team is, but a team's not good unless your coach is good, unless all the aspects of your team are good. So he's well deserving of that, I find.
Yeah, just a quick housekeeping note on this contract. He did have 3 years remaining on his current contract, so those will be nulled. So we'll have 6 years off of this next deal. So, but he'll be through contract till 2026.
Not bad. Not a bad setup right there for Kyle Shanahan. Also, more 49ers news. So Deebo Samuel undergoes foot surgery, and he'll be out 3 to 4 months. And he injured himself doing like a little just throwing around with some teammates or friends, and he broke his foot. And that was just pretty random. So he'll be out for 3 to 4 months. Hopefully,
he should be ready. Should be ready by week 1, week 2.
Yeah, so hopefully he's back in time.
Week 1, week 2 is in September.
Yeah, if we don't know what's going to happen. If it is on schedule, then he should be back in time. I know you like this guy, Mr. Josh Gordon, files for reinstatement once again. Once again, I feel like it's just a tradition at this point every year that it's just an ongoing thing. It has to happen. The year doesn't seem right unless he does it. But I don't know. Like, I know you're a Browns fan, right? So you know more about Josh Gordon and his whole situation.
Yeah, he had a 16. I would like to say back in 2013, he had a 1,600-yard reception season, which we made all pro. But he just can't. If I could quote the illustrious Stephen A. Smith, "Stay off the weed." But it seems like every sport is loosening the leash on your recreational drugs.
Yeah.
Like baseball isn't testing for marijuana. NBA is going to be testing for marijuana for the bubble. So I think it's only a matter of time before the NFL and NHL follow suit. So in saying that, Josh Gordon's going to be back in the league once again.
I think so too. I think he's deserving of it. It just sucks that that's the reason
Great
why
talent.
Exactly. And his career's been all wishy-washy because of what's went on. So,
Tarnished.
yeah. Big name Jamal Adams requests a trade from the Jets. And some teams that he wants to get traded to, he gave a list, were the Ravens, the Cowboys, the Texans, the Chiefs, the Eagles, 49ers, and the Seahawks. All teams with
that are making the Super Bowl this season.
and pretty great defenses too. Like they're like
Cowboys
pretty,
are much. Cowboys are
other than the Cowboys. That's what I'm saying. But the other teams, like they have like pretty good defenses. And they're known,
Philadelphia. Their secondary.
well,
They
now,
just
but
lost
like
Malcolm
they're.
Jenkins, buddy.
I know,
So
but I'm just saying
I
they're
think that'd be
known
the
for
honest.
having their defenses.
That would be the best fit.
Yeah, that's what
to
I
see
thought too.
Adams go to Philly. Shout out Mateus. Shout out Graydon, Eagles fans. Just because they lost Malcolm Jenkins, and it seems that their secondary always lets them down. Although they
Yeah.
did just pick up Darius Slay in the offseason. It was
Which is not a bad pickup.
should be an all-pro cornerback every perennial year. Just the Detroit Lions just suck. But
Yeah,
it's terrible. Like the all-pro safety, the cornerstone in that defense when they drafted him, to see him to talk about it so openly, it's very disheartening.
Yeah, it sucks, but
Best chant in the league though. Jets, 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 Jets. We're approaching the 10-year anniversary of the butt fumble too.
oh, Mark Sanchez butt fumble on Thanksgiving. I can't. That's been almost 10 years.
2011, I believe.
Wow, time really does fly by. I remember seeing that in the not top 10 plays of the week when it
Of
happened.
the decade.
No, but of that week when I like paid attention to that. That's crazy. Time really flies. Dr. Fauci, he's come out and said the NFL season may not happen unless players are in a bubble. So he wants the NFL to have the NFL wants to have like an ecosystem over a bubble. So where like everyone within like personnel, coaches, players are all able to interact. Who really wants to listen to the doctors anyway? The NFL is going to do what they want. They're going to obviously take into consideration they're going to have to do something. They can't just say, oh, we're not having any restrictions, but they're not really going to listen to what needs to be done. They want to do what they want to do for their best interest and not the interest of
Stay tuned for another episode on our feelings on that.
The health and safety of players, coaches, and personnel. Yeah, I could go. We could have a whole.
Oh, we did. If you don't remember.
Oh yeah, I do.
Last night bender.
Yeah, with a little special guest who will not be named until later, but it was quite the talk. But yeah, I think it's gonna happen. The season's gonna happen.
Yeah,
they're just gonna have to be strict about what's going on, like the other leagues they're doing right now, like the NBA, how they just. You're gonna get into more of that stuff. So, and to wrap it up with the NFL, the 61% of Americans believes Goodell should apologize to Colin Kaepernick for basically kicking him out of the league back in 2016.
Well, I don't know if it's more Goodell. I think it's more the owners. Like, Goodell doesn't really have a say on where he goes or how. Like, I don't know how players dictate where they go. It's the owners.
But did Goodell say, "Oh, don't sign Kaepernick"? We don't know. But like maybe
that's for speculation.
Yeah. So.
And I don't like to deal with speculation because it's stupid.
Yeah.
But we're going to bring it to the association now. Thunder Vice President of Basketball Operations Troy Weaver set to become the next general manager of the also luxurious Detroit Pistons. Possibly the next seating place for LaMelo Ball, possibly.
Shout out to Steve Fisher.
Exactly. The league will be creating an anonymous hotline for the players to call in Orlando to snitch on any player that goes outside the bubble. They're also bringing rings to know your whereabouts and wristbands.
Like the Disney wristbands.
Would you call the hotline if you saw somebody?
For sure, I'd call that hotline.
Mitch, are you kidding?
100%. There's players there, like even in the NHL, but even in the NBA.
Like if you were playing in the league and you saw something like, oh, LeBron sneaking out, I'm gonna get him suspended. All over it, right?
Yeah, all over. Are you kidding me? Take that to advantage into the playoffs. Also, there's players with like diabetes and like underlying health issues, and they're not willing to take risks. Some players obviously don't care, and some people care a lot. So you gotta really, I think you gotta lean towards caring more about not caring at all. And if I saw someone doing that, 100%, it's not even just about health and safety. It's about, hey, that guy can get suspended.
That guy's on speed dial.
Yeah.
Nets guard Kyrie Irving proposes that players start up a new league through his group chat with his Nets teammates. What?
I think that's a bit of like a speculation.
He's the next Antonio Brown of the NBA.
Oh my goodness. I don't think at that level, like where Antonio Brown got, but I see what you're saying.
He's a whack job. Like ever since he left Cleveland, it's just been a complete derailment.
Him on Boston, I couldn't stand him, man. Like I remember his speech. if you guys will have me
Yeah,
back, I'm gonna come back. I was like, great, like awesome. That signs with Brooklyn.
I don't know. It's the fro. I don't know. It's messing with his head a little bit. But Lakers players Dwight Howard and Avery Bradley have also been pretty vocal on not playing, as well as Wizards star guard John Wall. He also doesn't want to participate in the NBA bubble, but wants to play for Team USA in the upcoming Olympics in Tokyo. It's the same prowess, no?
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, I'd love to see. I don't know.
Like
I
I
don't know
think it'd
where
be
the
more
things
dangerous to go overseas and play in the Olympics right
in the
now.
Olympics.
And
Yeah,
what we know of what is happening, I think it'd be more dangerous to go. Like it would be more safe to go and play in the bubble.
where are the Olympics again?
Tokyo,
That's what I
Japan.
thought. So yeah, yeah. I think just traveling overseas would be more dangerous.
So the NBA has listed I would like to say it's a transfer window, and that is going to be starting June 23rd to June 30th for any player who wants to opt out of the NBA restart. I think that's the fairest way to do it.
Yeah.
Just I don't think you can really force anybody if they don't want to go in circumstances like it is right now. The guy who seems to be in all of TikTok lore right now is Suns forward Kelly Oubre. Kills me every time I see one. He will be missing the rest of the season to continue rehabbing his knee injury, but will
Dang.
travel with the team to Orlando to cheer them on. Cool. The Raptors will begin their training camp in Florida rather than Toronto due to the 14-day quarantine for anybody coming into the great country of what we call Canada. They will be reconvening at what is my favorite university in Florida, Florida Gulf Coast University. Go Birds. And everyone I think I would like to say 2008 is when they upset and made that great run in March Madness as a 15 seed, 14 seed.
How far did they get?
I think the Final Four.
Dang. Oh.
They were the Loyola of Chicago before the Loyola of Chicago.
Yeah.
And Sister Jean. Is that her name, Sister Jean? I think so. But that university's branches in Naples, so that's where they're going to be doing their training camp, and hopefully they'll be able to have it safely for what's happening in Florida right now. NBA teams will be staying at hotels based on their regular season performance, which is just unreal, if you ask me. You've been to Disney, no?
Yeah, I have.
So are these like the Grand Destino, like the nicest hotel there?
Well, I couldn't even tell you which hotels were the nicest because I stayed in like the sports themed one, and I didn't really see the other ones.
Well, yeah. So I'm assuming it's based on like how nice the hotel is. The Grand Destino Hotel, which will be stayed by the Bucks, Lakers, the Rap Show, the Clip Show, the Seas, the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Heat. The Grand Floridian, which will be held by the Thunder, Sixers, Rockets, Pacers, Mavs, Nets, Grizzlies, and Magic. And the Yacht Club at Lil Yachty will be stayed by the Blazers, the Kings, the Pelicans, the Spurs, Suns, and Wizards. And all those teams would have not have made the playoffs if it were for regular times, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Mark Cuban, the ever so outspoken owner of the Dallas Mavericks, will be kneeling, which I think it's going to be interesting to see what the NHL and NBA and baseball do, is because they aren't really the ones that were into the kneeling when it happened first in 2016. I know there was a kind of a big reconvene of racism with Donald Sterling, the then Clippers owner, and everyone was wearing the black shirts and dumping their warm-up jerseys on center court. So it should be very cool and very, very cool, if I could say it again, to see what happens. John Wall wants Wizards to sign DeMarcus Cousins. I see it happening. I would love to see it happen.
I hope he's out of the league. I hate him.
Yeah. What?
I don't like Boogie, man.
Why? What do he do to you?
He's just annoying.
Oh, he's hilarious.
Nah, I don't like him. I don't like his attitude.
You think he deserves another shot? He's too good of a talent. He's just been derailed by injuries. The Achilles, the torn ACLs, the back.
And ejections.
Yeah, there, Comboy. The Detroit Pistons legend Ben Wallace has been sparked up in conversation if he should be a Hall of Fame player. Your thoughts?
I think so. Like what I was reading about this, and I think yes, but at the same time they're saying, well, he didn't have great offensive skills, and he only put up like 5 point whatever.
He was a defensive machine.
Exactly. Like with his defensive resume alone, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
And he's got a ring.
Exactly. He has that ring. And you have a guy like Dikembe Mutombo who's in there. And he was a better offensive player, but he was just as good at
He
like
changed
not
the
just as
game. He
good.
can't be Mutombo.
Exactly. So I think Ben Wallace should be in the Hall of Fame. A lot of people are saying no, he didn't put up enough points. We have Dennis Rodman who put up like maybe like how many points? Like
Yeah, but
six
you're
point
talking
eight.
all-time greats and Dennis Rodman and Dikembe. Ben Wallace is kind of like
I think he
your
is an
folk
all-time great.
hero-y kind of guy, like your Andrew Hammond, Craig Anderson. Like he would be in your Ring of Honor, but I don't know if he would be in your Hall of Fame. You know,
You don't think he'll make it to the
I
Hall
don't
of
know.
Fame?
Like you might get a class that's not as up to par as usual, and you
Yeah.
could see him sneak in. Like I think this year with baseball, I think you're going to see one of the steroid guys get in just because of how weak the class is. Barry Bonds,
Jeez.
Roger Clemens, like this could be their year.
Damn. That wraps it up for basketball in the NBA. Some news out of the NHL, some hockey
Some
for
big news, if you ask
huge news.
anybody who is a
So
Sabres fan.
yeah, Sabres fired general manager Jason Botterill, and he was replaced by the vice president of business operations Kevin Adams. Botterill spent the last 3 seasons as the team's general manager, failing to make it to the playoffs all 3 years with
Should we
quite,
mention they've never finished better than eighth in the Atlantic or sixth in the Atlantic?
which shocks me honestly because they're not a bad team. You know, you like we always say they start off so great and then,
Fizzle
but
the fuck out.
yeah, just like the old Leafs.
Yeah, keep
Um,
reading.
reputation will be cemented for his time in Buffalo for the Riley O'Reilly trade. That was like one of the biggest trades that he probably pulled off, probably the biggest.
Uh,
Um,
buddy, they dealt him.
yeah, I know,
That's not good
but it's a big trade. Like that's like the
for
biggest
St.
thing that's
Louis,
happened.
not for Buffalo.
Well, like nothing. Never said it was a good thing. But yeah, but they also like in the meantime, did he was
Well,
he
Ryan
there?
O'Reilly kind of lost his love for the game in Buffalo.
When did Eichel get drafted?
2015
15. Okay, so he wasn't.
McDavid draft.
Yeah. Okay. That's on. Oh, he's that old, eh? I thought, man, time really flies by.
Or 2006. When was Matthews draft? No, because 2016 is when the Leafs. Oh, wait a second. Maybe
I'm saying, but still, it's been more than 3 years. I don't think this Butterill
no,
was the
because
general
Matthews is
manager.
2016.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sounds right. Buffalo also fired 2 assistant general managers. Their director of amateur scouting, the assistant director of amateur scouting, 10 amateur scouts, 1 pro scout, 2 player development coaches, one being who's that? Mike
Habs
Commissary.
legend.
Mike
Habs
Commissary.
legend.
He was. Oh, I didn't even know he was working for Buffalo. 1 rehab and development coach, the AHL Rochester Americans head coach, and both assistants. What's going on in Buffalo?
Clean in house, man.
Yeah.
The ownership, Terry and Kim Pagula, since they
Yeah.
took over, it's just been a shit show. Like they haven't made the playoffs since they took over. They really can't sign anybody. And if they do, they have to oversign because who wants to like?
What's
I
the
love
point?
Buffalo, but who the fuck wants to live in Buffalo?
Yeah.
But hey, the fans there are just bar none one of the best fans in the league. Coming from a Leafs fan, where you grow up hating Buffalo, but it's a great place to watch a game. As you know,
Yeah.
$35 to see Matt Barzal and the Islanders last year. It's
Some
unbelievable.
cheap tickets. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
nice game.
like it's awesome, and the fans they're not fake, they're not corporate like you see in Toronto. They're real blue collar, and they're dying for a good team. They are
Yeah.
dying for a good, and they have some great pieces like Eichel. Obviously, I know
Don't they
he's
have
worked his,
Middlestat?
and Casey Middlestat was supposed to be your second line center, and it really hasn't panned out so far. But I remember
Yeah.
going to see World Juniors 2018 when it was in Buffalo, and Middlestat was like the bee's knees because he was just drafted by Buffalo, and everyone was like, "Oh my God, Middlestat!" Like, Yank went off in the bathroom during the intermission. Oh, Casey! Like seriously,
Jeez.
it was unreal. But I kind of like they drafted Alex Nylander. If anyone doesn't know, brother of Leaf stud William Nylander. Dealt
Overpaid.
him this season to Chicago for Henry Jokiharju to bolster the blue line, which really it's pretty thick. Like they have some great talents up there in the blue line. They have Ristolainen, Dahlin,
Yeah.
Jokiharju. Like that's a solid 3. But I think they need to before any and we know we did this on Draft Simulators. They had to figure out their goaltending.
Yeah.
And Makarov is going to be the guy, I think, the draft. But yeah, Sam Reinhart. I don't know if he's living up to number 2 overall pick reputation.
Yeah. Falling off.
Victor Olofsson was a pleasant surprise. 20 power play goals this year.
Yeah.
But Connor Sheary didn't
I
really
forgot
take off.
Forgot they had Deline, honestly, because I we haven't seen any sports. I'm forgetting who's on what team. Not paying attention, but yeah,
That's what
I
happens
think
when you're second fiddle on the podcast.
yeah, it's
So carry on.
whatever.
Sorry.
I'm the host. To carry on with more NHL news, so Canadian government has paved way toward allowing hub cities, and even today there's rumors saying that Vancouver is a potential hub city over Edmonton, where you thought it would be Edmonton.
Well,
But
yeah. So what I've been hearing on the hub city point of it is that Vegas is a lock right now to be
that's
a hub
good.
city. Not that it's been confirmed by anybody, but the rumors swirling around is Vegas is locked. Honestly, with everything happening right now in the U.S. with all these spikes and all the hot rise places right now, I think they'd be very welcome to have a Canadian hub city and
Mm-hmm.
or both, because really, like Canada's got this shit locked. It really hasn't. There has not been a huge spike like you're seeing everywhere else, even with per
In
capita.
Florida.
Yeah, but I know like there's a lot of population density in these areas, and you see all these like 2,800, 3,000 cases. Even per capita wise, we're doing fantastic.
Oh, we're doing amazing.
And I know that that's not to pump our own tires being Canadians, but not a
Kind of
big
is.
deal.
Not American Daryl. But yeah, it's looking good. That's why I'm kind of even concerned for those players in the NBA going to Orlando.
Yeah, so just before we go anywhere else, the best player in the world, who happens to be Toronto Maple Leaf, Austin Matthews, has tested positive for COVID-19. We're starting the movement right now. Stash is long for Mats.
No,
Repost it because I know whoever we talked to last night, and you know who you are if you've gotten this far in the episode.
I doubt it.
You better repost. You better repost.
You have to. You promised.
Or, you know, it might have to cut ties. Not every day. It's
No.
whatever.
Snip,
Yeah,
snip.
snip, snip.
Some more. This isn't NHL news, but Daniel Carcillo is
Former NHL
actually,
enforcer.
yeah, he's suing the CHL over abuse and assault and hazing of underage players, and this is something that's gone on in the CHL for a long time, and players just don't speak out about it because they don't want to be embarrassed or they'll feel
Caught in the wrong.
ashamed. Yeah, they'll feel
Like, your reputation kind of gets thrown under the bus if you talk about it. So you're scared.
Exactly. And so he's coming out. It's brave of him and strong of him to come out. He's even said he knows he's been like a mean person in the NHL before. Like even like not being an enforcer, but like rude. Like there's cases of him like being like extremely like rude and stuff. But he knows he's changed and he's trying to change the game. And we're like even for racism in hockey, they're trying to change the game.
Carcillo and his brother,
Yeah.
they're not all there. Like they have mental health issues.
Yeah.
So it's nice, like, and I've heard stories, and for their sake of their privacy, we won't say it. But it's nice to see them doing something positive, and hopefully they can be able to turn the cheek here, and stay positive rather than going down a dark path.
Yeah. Speaking about hub cities again, the NHL doesn't want the teams playing in their own hub cities, which I don't find to be a big deal because there's no home.
The only
like,
the only home ice advantage would be is like the drive to the rink, but there's not even going to be a drive to the rink because they're going to be in a hotel.
Exactly. So I don't see there's no fans, so it's not a big deal.
The only thing like I can really think of is like the bounce off the stanchions, and that's like it's like your
like you
home
just
rink.
know, yeah.
Like, but you don't really see like there's no more vintage barns anymore. Like most of them are pretty brand new. Like the Joe used to have some pretty nasty bounces. Yeah, I love that arena, man. And now it's the freaking pizza box, Little Caesars, where you get like 5,000 people a night.
Damn, they just got to get good again. They'll fill it up. But yeah, the Bruins.
Shout out Dylan Larkin's a stud.
the Bruins.
Yeah, got you there, eh?
Yeah, the Bruins may rest players during the round robin tourney. I see more teams in the top four, like who are playing in that round robin. I think
that's got some cocky shit. Like, hey, fuck everybody else. I'm like, we know you're gonna kick your ass.
But the thing is, they're guaranteed the next round, you know.
But
so like,
I would rather have my best chance of winning.
Oh, 100%. But like, it's all perspective, obviously. But it's,
I guess.
I think it's playing. Maybe they're playing mind games with the other teams or something. But or some players might be concerned, like, hey, I don't want to be injured for a deep run in the playoffs if we're playing this 4 games. So it's whatever. They'll still be a 4th seed at worst, which isn't bad. So that just, I think the Bruins playing some mind games. The NHL players won't need to wear face shields, which I didn't think they were going to. The same thing with the NFL. They had this whole development.
You see those helmets?
I saw those helmets.
Those are sick.
I think they look sick, but then some NFL
I don't know how comfortable they'd be, but I'd buy one.
Some NFL player was like, "Oh, there's no way anyone's wearing that." Like tweeting that. So I don't think that's going to be a thing. And then Patty Kane, legend for the Chicago Blackhawks, says there's not going to be any asterisk for the 2020 champion. It's well
Absolutely
he
not.
says exactly it's going to be a well deserved. They've already given the format out. You're going to be playing lots of games. It's going to be a hard road to get there. Even if your 12 seed Montreal Canadiens make it all the way to the cup and win it, there's no asterisk. They win fair and square. So I like to see. I think a lot of other players think the same way.
Yeah, breaking news as well. Based on your format, the NHL is going to return July 30th, and then it's been set.
Really?
It's set in stone that it's happening July 30th. One exhibition game will be played before July 30th. NHL is coming back.
Also, the draft lottery is coming up soon. Can't wait for that.
Oh my god! Oh yeah, isn't that the 26th?
Yeah, like it's 6 days. Yeah.
Oh my god!
Some big news.
But we move to the most scrutinized sport right now in North America, and that is Major League Baseball. Wednesday, MLB has proposed a 60-game regular season with full pro-rated salaries with a universal designated hitter for this season and the following. This was the best deal yet. I don't know why the players said no. It's just
they just don't want. I don't know why, man. But
hurts my brain.
I saw somewhere was like, oh, a 2020 MLB season is definitely happening. Like,
well, it was happening with this deal, and then the Players Association counter proposed a 70-game schedule, and I think that is going to be pushed down now because of how much COVID is being happening right now. Baseball has pretty much shut down all spring training facilities for a deep, thorough cleaning. Malcolm's good at those, and they will be reopening with everybody coming in who has a positive or a negative test. So I think this is a great trial run to see how their program for COVID is going to work. Because Phillies has come out with 8 positive tests. San Francisco Giants have come out with positive tests. Jays have come out with a positive test. So it's a tough sledding right now. But my personal view is that this is coming off of Ken Rosenthal, that a 66-game season would work best scheduling-wise, and this would be consisting of 12 games versus your division opponents, 3 games versus an interleague opponent, and 6 games, which would be a 2-3 game series against your interleague rival. I think that'd be fantastic. I would love to see it. Just want to see baseball. Just want to see baseball. That's all I want. It's just baseball. But Anthony Fauci, I believe Anthony Fauci, has come out and said that it's going to be tough to be playing these kind of outdoor sports late into the fall season with a parallel of the flu season along with COVID. So I think it'll be very, very tough to see how they're going to be maneuvering. And as well, there's also talks of baseball having a bubble also.
Which
how is that going to work? Like, there's going to need – because baseball takes so long to play. And I can see that maybe, like, there's obviously going to be no fans, right? So maybe they play at, like, an academy where they have more than one diamond available. But would it be camera accessible is the problem. As well, Minnesota Twins have removed the statue of their former owner, Calvin Griffith, assuming it has to do with something with the Black Lives Matter movement. I really don't know much about Calvin Griffith, but I'm assuming he was a racist owner, like a lot.
There's some comments he made in like 1978. I forget what the comments were, but there's some racist comments. They're like, okay, yeah, we're going to take him down.
Yeah. And to spare you with you not knowing much about it, I'm going to read the soccer highlights today. I thought you were shitting your pants for a second.
No, I knew you took over.
has officially announced the signing of Timo Werner. Big news for the biggest name in free agent the transfer window for soccer. He will not be competing for RB Leipzig in the Champions League as well. Don't like that because I think you have an obligation to finish your contract. But speaking of Champions League, their Champions League is returning August the 7th. Personally, exciting. It's the best soccer in the world. Like, I know, say what you want about the Prem, say what you want about La Liga, Bundesliga. This is the best. It's all these in one. Whoever is a casual soccer fan, I encourage you to watch Champions League because it will get you into soccer like it did myself. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and the final will be held in one location, which would be Lisbon, Portugal, with only one leg to decide who wins. So it's going to be winner take all.
Jeez.
Final will be August 23rd, which was what it's been really – that's been get-go for what they've been trying to do is late August. so it doesn't interfere with the restart of the domestic leagues and as well as the next Champions League season. Right now, the format they are in is currently in the second leg of the round of 16, and the GAC game will be played at the home venue of wherever it was supposed to be played at. So there will be no bubble for that. United star Marcus Rashford has been in the news recently for his campaign to feed every single child in the UK, England, I should say, who needs a meal. Rashford wants to be able to provide all free meals for children who go hungry in England, and especially in today's age with COVID-19 taking a lot of hit on financial burdens. Big ups to the kid. England's Prime Minister Boris Johnson has contributed hundreds of millions so that Rashford can meet this goal. Rashford has been able to give free meals to 1.3 million kids at risk, and he's doing this at the humble age of 22 years young. Big ups. Canadian superstar, Bayern left back Alphonso Davies broke the Bundesliga speed record, clocking in at 36.51 kilometers per hour. And that was when they clinched their 8th straight Bundesliga title this past weekend. And as well, if we can't have enough Alphonso Davies rub and tug sessions, he has won the Bundesliga Rookie of the Year award. At, again, the humbling age of 19 years old.
And where's he from again?
I believe he's from Edmonton, and that happens to be in Alberta, which is Canada.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has confirmed that German superstar Leroy Sané will be renewing his contract with City. He has been linked with Bayern Munich since COVID kind of started, so who knows? Hopefully he ends up where he wants to be, but it's kind of a prick for China not to finish off the season when Man City trying to make a push for Champions League and or the Prem title, but that's kind of locked down by the Reds of Liverpool.
Damn. That's actually like just going back to Alphonso Davies, like what he's doing at his.
Oh my God! Hold on, let me just go in the bathroom.
I'm just saying,
some unprecedented stuff.
He's something else, man. He's just
Canada soccer is on the up and coming. Like you have Jonathan David, who plays for Ghent in the Belgian top league. He is awesome. He's gonna be another stud. Jonathan Osorio, if you're a big MLS fan, you know how he does in TFC.
I would have been with Juventus by now if it wasn't for my dedication to tennis. So whatever, no big deal. Not a big deal.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Canadian soccer is looking really, really promising.
Yeah, I think so too, and especially female soccer as well in Canada.
Yeah, female soccer, they already established themselves. Like men's soccer hasn't done anything since.
For a long time. Yeah, we're gonna move along to the NCAA and more specifically football. So your Ohio State Buckeyes,
Ohio State University.
I paused just for that. And Alabama agreed to a home-and-home series in 2027 and 2028, which I think now Ohio State, some series that they have in the coming years are pretty good.
It's some big series, man. Following this, they have Georgia for 2029, 2030, and I believe as well they have Notre Dame.
Yep.
Coming up quite soon, I believe. Not in the next 5 years, I believe they have Notre Dame home and home.
Mm-hmm. So,
about time, man. Some big games, man.
Could be some nice games. Oklahoma State star running back Chuba Hubbard has said that he will not will not associate with the university until something is done. It stems from his coach Mike Gundy wearing OAN t-shirt, which stands for One American News Network, which is a pro-Donald Trump network. And I saw his outburst on Twitter, and he was not having it. He does not want to have anything to do with the school until something is done. And rightfully so, with everything going on and seeing that your own coach, I don't know if it's necessarily like he's promoting, like he's like trying to defend Donald Trump, saying, oh, like the Black Lives Matter movement's irrelevant or something like that. But obviously as a player and you see your own coach doing that, it's heartbreaking to see.
Would you happen to know where Chuba Hubbard is from, Malcolm?
He's from Canada.
He is Canadian. Exactly. Yeah. And he happened to lead all of NCAA football in rushing yards last season.
It's not so bad.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal. Some Canadians on this podcast just really stepping
showing up today, showing up this week. So but I think that this issue is being raised more just because Chuba Hubbard did not declare for the draft.
Yeah.
Decided to come back for another year. And to see this happening is just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, but Gundy and Hubbard, they also have made a joint message saying Gundy's actions were insensitive. So at least they've come together, and they're going to have a good relationship for him to have a good season this season and make it into the NFL, hopefully the season after. And then some COVID news out of NCAA football.
A lot of COVID news.
A lot of teams. So the University of Texas announced 13 players have contracted COVID. My Clemson Tigers have 20 plus positive cases.
And today, 30 LSU Tigers have been placed into quarantine for positive test and or knowing anybody who has been tested positive as well. Hopefully everyone comes out safe. It's 2 weeks.
I think
at least
from protesting, man.
It is. It's like, I know, I hate to say it, but it's really what's happening is that it's been 2 weeks since these protests have started.
Yeah.
And you're seeing the results.
It's just going to be another spike, and you hate to see it. Obviously, going out to protest was a big deal as well, and it had to happen. But they should have implemented social distancing at the protest, but no one really cared to do anything.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, speaking on the Black Lives Matter movement, I'm sure if anyone is a fan of pancakes, Aunt Jemima, it's a staple. But they are going to be rebranding it because they think it's back from racist ties. So there will be no more Aunt Jemima on your shelves. You might get an Uncle Ken, maybe. But speaking of uncles, Uncle Ben as well. Your favorite rice will be rebranding as well because of racist ties. So I don't know. I think they have to do it, but in the sense that I really didn't care, like before. No one really knew, and I don't think it really mattered to anybody. That it said that, like, I only care about, like, I'm not buying a rice or maple syrup because it's racist, because it just tastes good.
Yeah, like Aunt Jemima was like really good pancakes.
Yeah. And if anybody knows, like, grade 12 Sega Beach trip, we made pancakes, and there was me and Callum, Willie, shout out, big Wings fan. Larkin's a stud, so you don't get enough Dylan Larkin on the show. He would always yell out, Aunt Jemima, and I would always finish, what's in the pancakes? Classic. And it's still on to this day. When we found out the news that was happening, it was the first text that came in was, Aunt Jemima, what's in the pancakes? It's a classic. But the next sport that happens to be in the news for COVID-19 is the PGA Tour, where a golfer by the name of Nick Watney has tested positive, and that was on Friday. And there's been a lot of backlash of how the PGA Tour dealt with it. They did say, PGA Tour statement was that Nick Watney was never at the course. Well, Rory McIlroy and Brooks Koepka were seen with Nick Watney when he tested positive on the putting green. Dang. So there's some mixed signs on what happened. So anybody who was interacted with Watney Thursday and or when he tested positive on Friday have all tested negative today. But it does take up to 2 weeks for symptoms to show. So I think it's very I don't think they should be playing this tournament. I think it should be scrapped because you don't know if you have COVID up to 2 weeks. So anybody could be carrying symptoms right now and they don't even know it, even with the negative test. So they should not have been allowed on the course and or the practice facilities. So,
I think we have to have a whole episode about this.
Well, I think we are. Like, we did tape that episode, and it should be out in the next near future. And it should be very interesting. Big merch drops coming soon. When the NBA has their formatting all set in stone, we're going to be having a little shindig party, social distance style, on the web. And the winner are going to get the very first drop of the Unfinished Business merch collection. More details to follow.
It's looking really sexy right now, this merchandise right now.
Oh, and never mind, we're going to just retract that statement back. But, yeah, like, comment, repost to anybody who's made it far who we know hasn't, and we know we've called you out on it, but not a big deal. But
you know who you are.
You know who you are if you made it this far and you say you watch. We'll see how that goes. Repost the pod. We'll be reposting on our story. Unfinished Business Podcast on Instagram if you're new. 100 followers in the first 2 weeks. I think that's fantastic. Whoever's been following back, whoever hasn't followed back, what's up? Give us a follow. Not a big deal.
Yeah,
A great merch cup. Like not a big deal.
not
Like,
a big
come on.
deal.
I'd buy a dad cap. Come on.
That'd be a perfect cap. Oh
Buddy,
my goodness.
if I had like a swimsuit, like a swim trunks, and it's like a tramp stamp, not a big deal over my
Deal.
ass, I'd buy that. Absolutely.
That'd be hilarious.
Nick McMeekin, you know where you're at when you stand on the swim trunk, the tramp stamp kind of style. I think you'd buy that. Come on.
Yeah.
But that does wrap up Saturday recap. Woo, wee, wee, woo. The recap of Unfinished Business. Thanks for watching. As always, we'll be back with you for the Twisted Tuesday production. Can't wait. Big interviews, big names, good guys. Stay tuned. Have a nice week, everybody.